So today we are diving into a critique of a script that explores why the brain spirals into nighttime overthinking, touching on the default mode network and offering techniques to break the anxiety loop.
Right, and I want to jump straight into the feedback because, well, while the piece builds excellent suspense, there are opportunities to significantly deepen its impact right from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into it.
The physiological explanation for nighttime overthinking introduces a compelling scientific angle that is currently underdeveloped in the resolution.
I agree. I mean, the script makes a really strong case for that 2 a.m. anxiety by highlighting how the default mode network basically acts as an overzealous protector when the brain is tired.
Yes, but reading it feels kind of like a mechanic opening the hood to show you a very specific broken engine part, but then...
But then just telling the driver to ignore the smoke instead of actually fixing the part.
Exactly! Which brings us to the main weakness. The script hooks the audience with these fascinating neurological concepts, but then abandons them in the climax for generalized mindfulness cliches.
Right, like just telling the reader to let thoughts pass like clouds?
Yeah, which is just not enough. If you map out the entire nervous system to explain the panic, you can't just fall back on passive observation.
No, you really can't.
So the suggestion here is to ground the actionable solution in the exact same neurological framework that was established during the buildup.
Okay, so instead of just relying on, passive observation, we need tangible ways to physically disrupt that network.
Precisely. As a concrete example, you could suggest engaging a different part of the brain with specific sensory grounding exercises.
Right.
Or even performing a cognitive distraction task, like counting backward from 100 by sevens.
Oh, wow. Counting by sevens?
Yeah, because it literally forces the brain out of its default state. It requires active working memory.
That makes total sense. And, shifting gears slightly, just as the content needs dynamic shifts from anxiety to calm, the delivery requires the exact same evolution.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
The highly fragmented sentence structure creates a dramatic rhythm that risks becoming monotonous and losing its impact over time.
It really does. The weakness is that almost every single line is this short, staccato phrase.
Right, and while that's super effective for simulating the rapid fire of an anxious mind early on, maintaining that exact rhythm throughout the entire piece creates a static pacing.
It exhausts the audience rather than guiding them toward relief. You're just trapped in the panic.
Exactly. So the suggestion is to vary the sentence length and structural flow to deliberately mirror the emotional arc of the narrative.
Oh, I like that. So physically changing how it reads on the page?
Yes. For a concrete example, they should retain the short, choppy lines to mimic that frantic loop of anxiety during the peak suspense sections.
Sure.
But then they need to deliberately switch to longer, smoother, and, more flowing sentences during the resolution phase.
Which subliminally induces a sense of calm and safety in the audience.
You got it. It's structural relaxation.
That is such a great note.
Well, let's briefly recap the core feedback here. The writer really needs to deepen the scientific resolution to match the setup and vary the sentence structure to mirror the emotional journey.
Right, so add specific neurological disruptors rather than basic mindfulness and utilize those longer sentences to evoke calm at the end.
Spot on. We warmly invite you to revise your script and submit your work back in for a future critique.